views expressed on this program are those of the hosts, guests, and callers, and are not necessarily those of this station, its management, or other advertisers. You're listening to Transformation Talk Radio.
The Truth is Funny with Colette Stefan will have you thinking outside the box and riding the wave of infinite potential. Join Colette on the Higher Self Network as she provides energetic shifts and consistent results in every area of life, inspiring listeners to shine their brilliance and ensure success. Many people who shift out of limiting beliefs roar with laughter as they recognize the humor of the giant cosmic joke. The truth is funny. Shift happens. Feel instant relief. Stay tuned for more fun and release struggle and suffering. And now, here's your host, Colette Stefan.
Hello, this is Colette Marie Stefan. Welcome to The Truth is Funny on Transformation Talk Radio. Stay tuned for the next hour and experience the instant relief of using your intuition to solve life's most challenging problems. Shift happens every Wednesday at 8 o'clock a.m., live on the airwaves and in the archives at thetruthisfunny.com, transformationtalkradio.com, and transformationradio.fm. So these energetic shifts are still accessible through what I call HSN, the Higher Self Network, if you are listening later. It is my pleasure to share life-transforming information and provide you with an opportunity to call in and delete energetic weaknesses to shift challenges into possibilities. We love to hear from you. Feel free to call in 1-800-930-2819. My guest today is Garnet Schulhauser, who is a retired lawyer who lives near Victoria on Vancouver Island, Canada, with his wife, Kathy, and his little dog, Abby. He grew up in my old stomping grounds in Saskatchewan and moved to Calgary, Canada, after law school, where he practiced corporate law for over 30 years with 2 blue-chip law firms. After retiring from his law firm in 2008, he began his new career as an author, and his first book, Dancing on a Stamp, was published in 2012. In Dancing on a Stamp, Garnet recounts how his life dramatically changed one day in 2007 while he was still practicing law when he was confronted on the street by a homeless man named Albert, who was actually a wise spirit in disguise, an emissary from the spirit world. This seemingly chance encounter launched a provocative dialogue with Albert, who disclosed startling new truths about cycles of reincarnation on Earth and the afterlife. Then, in Garnet's second book, Dancing Forever with Spirit, he describes his next encounter with Albert, who guided him on a series of astral adventures to visit the spirit side, the Akashic Records, distant planets with fascinating life forms, and civilization that made the shift to the new Earth. And now today, this is Garnet's second time on my show, and we talked about the first 2 books, but today we're going to talk about his third book, Dance of Heavenly Bliss. Are you there, Garnet? Hello, Garnet? Whoops. All right. We'll be getting Garnet on here right away. I'm not quite sure what happened there, but in the meantime, we do have a caller. So I'm going to take this. I'm going to take this call from Chelsea from Canada. Are you there, Chelsea?
Hello.
Hi, Chelsea. How are you?
Hello. Good, thanks.
Hello. Can you hear me? Good. What can we do? What can I do for you today?
I was hoping to shift the energy. I'm trying to lift my career off the ground, but there's a part of me that's holding myself back, that's just not confident, and it's really, I don't know, almost like self-sabotage.
Okay. Well, this is what we are, when we're moving into a different way of being is what's coming up. That it's kind of like rebirthing yourself is what's coming up. Like on a scale of 0 to 10, where are you in that, 10 being the worst case scenario and 0 being your neutral? Where are you on that scale right now when you think about
an 8.
Moving on? An 8. Okay, so What's the number one thing that comes to your mind that would stop you from getting where you want to go?
Just doubt, I think. Maybe confidence.
Okay. So when we get in touch with that on an energetic level, it's not that you're not confident. What kind of work are you doing?
Alternative healing. Working on body.
Okay, but what?
Reflexology. Hot stone.
Okay, body work. Okay. So getting in touch with that. There's a weakness there in getting in touch with people, touching others touching you, being touched. Touched in the head is what's coming up. Okay, so we're just going to strengthen all that. Like a lot of alternative healers are kind of accused of being touched in the head. Garnet, we'll have him on right away here again. There was just a technical issue, but he could speak probably very clearly about this because, you can imagine being a lawyer, corporate lawyer, and moving into a place of doing all of a sudden, you're on this path that's totally removed. And, so a lot of times over the history of humanity, a lot of people, when they kind of start moving into this kind of creative space and using their intuition and making these changes that are not as popular in regular society, a lot of times there's judgment there. So we just want to strengthen you to the judgment from other people, the judgment in yourself, and then any judgment on a spiritual level is coming up. We want to strengthen that for you. I just want to ask you now, where are you at on that scale? Has it changed at all for you?
I'd say about a 5 or 6.
Yeah, that's what I was getting. Yeah, well, the number 5 is kind of like about halfway there, halfway not there. So we want to strengthen you to being caught in the gap, okay? From the time that you... It's coming up like even in your nervous system right now is having this, we want to strengthen the gap for everybody. Okay. So many times when people are making major life decisions and they're moving into different choices, they get kind of caught in the gap. And when we're using words and we're using language, there's a lot of people really focus on which words to use, but they don't focus necessarily on the gap in between. And so we want to strengthen that for you, that, what's also coming up is on a spiritual level, feeling that you're good enough, that you are enough. And so we just want to strengthen you to that. If you ever listen to the show with Karen Campbell-Batten, we were talking about being enough, that we are always enough. Okay, so sometimes are you a mom?
I am, yeah.
Yeah. So sometimes what happens is in the gap between someone becoming a mom and then looking after children a lot and then putting their focus on that and having to switch their focus. So we're just going to strengthen all of that for you. It's not about leaving. See, you've got a weakness to leaving others behind and being left behind. So we're just going to strengthen all of that. And we will, move into that space here and just strengthen your connection to source energy, getting all the answers directly from source. So you can ask the question and get the answer very easily here. So we're just going to strengthen you to following your heart and getting consistent steps of action in place. So it's come up, you want to go to your midline, you want to put some energy there, you want to feel your heartbeat and calm yourself. Make sure you breathe. And then work through that. I just wanted to check in with you again now where you're at.
I'd say about a 3.
Okay.
2 or 3.
So I'm getting that it's going to, it's about you taking consistent steps of action on a day-to-day basis, on a minute-by-minute basis, actually, so that every minute of your day is improving your situation, whether that be something as simple as cleaning the bathroom. We can be looking around and we can feel kind of frustrated and then move into that kind of place where we just find something small that we can do to improve our life situation. And it doesn't have to be a big thing. And so as we get up and we take action on that, the universe likes action. So we just continue to that everything you're doing every minute, of every minute of every day is a step of action towards working towards your goal here. How does that feel?
It feels a lot better, yeah. I'd say about a 1.
Yeah, good. Yeah, you're going to down to 0 here. Listen to the rest of the show. I'm going to, we have to go break now, and Garnet's waiting to come back on the show. So I'm going to let you off the hook here. And, just notice whether or not, the 0 to the 1 is very slight. It's just the details. So don't get too caught up in the details. Okay?
Okay.
Don't think through it. Feel through it is what I'm saying to you. You are listening to The Truth is Funny on Transformation Talk Radio with Colette Marie Stefan and my guest today, Garnet Schulhauser. When we return, we'll be back with Garnet, 1-800-930-2819. We're going to make some more shift happen.
Chris Stanis is a spiritual leader and healer and teaches a course on how you can transform your life through a meditation and healing system that will manifest your spirit's dreams. She manifested the Women of Wisdom Conference, the Women of Wisdom book, and this radio show. And she can show you how to change your life too. Are you ready? Visit the website and contact her at voicesofwomentoday.com. That's voicesofwomentoday.com.
Tune into The Michael Shane Show the third Tuesday of each month at 11 a.m. Pacific on TransformationTalkRadio.com and connect with the ascended beings to raise your vibration and manifest the life you desire. Get ready to receive healing through the transphysical mediumship of Reverend Michael Shane and the ascended beings. Visit MichaelShane.com. That's MyChael, Shane.com, and call 425-971-6632 to schedule your full healing session now.
Brand consultant and coach Jen Morgan is here with Radically Distinct Radio to help maximize your brand's power to produce results. Whether you're a person with a dream and unsure where to start, or a CEO of a successful company wondering what's next, Jen Morgan and the RAD method empowers you to play to your strengths and focus your competitive edge so you can show up in the world as your most powerful brand. Go to jenmorgan.com or call 206-972-5366.
Tune in to The Truth is Funny with Colette Stefan each Wednesday at 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern on TransformationTalkRadio.com. This hit show will have you thinking outside the box and riding the wave of infinite potential. Join Colette on the Higher Self Network, inspiring listeners to shine their brilliance and ensure success while roaring with laughter as they recognize the humor of the giant cosmic joke. Visit thetruthisfunny.com.
Beyond being this amazing neurologist, inventor, author, Dr. Dan Cohen has been called to look at technology and look at personal and spiritual development and merge these together. His technology uses the healing and psychospiritual effects of synchronized sounds, vibrations, electromagnetic fields, and how that interacts with us in our nervous system in what we're calling the Soltec chair.
The Soltec Lounge induces profound levels of relaxation that transition over time into deep meditative states. The synchronized sound, vibration, and magnetic field induce these states. The subject doesn't have to work at it.
To learn more, go to soltecwellbeing.com. That's SOLTEC Wellbeing.
1230 WBLQ.
Hi, Garnet. We're back. This is Colette. This is The Truth is Funny. And we do have Garnet on now. So Garnet, I don't know. We seem to be really making some radio waves.
I think the computer gremlins have been at work.
I believe so. But we seem to be on now. So this is so cool. So Garnet, tell us about your third book, Dance of Heavenly Bliss.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
No,
Dance of Heavenly Bliss is my third book in the series. It's a sequel to my first two, which were Dancing on a Stem and Dancing Forever with Spirit. And my third book details further astral adventures I had with my spirit guide, Albert. And so it's really sort of, as I said, a sequel to the first three. And as you recall, my spirit guide, Albert, I initially met him back in 2007 when I was still practicing law, Colette. And it happened when I was taking a stroll down the street one sunny afternoon in May, and a homeless man just jumped out in front of me. And anyway, he is very different from a typical homeless person because he had these amazing, dazzling, sparkling blue eyes that penetrated deep within me and also sent me this wave of pure, unconditional love that he filled me with an amazing sense of peace and security and well-being. And so to make a long story short, it turned out that I began to speak with this man on a park bench. It turned out that he was one of my spirit guides in disguise. I was the only one who could see him in physical form. And he basically said he was here to answer my questions, all the big questions in life that I've been asking over the years, like who am I, why am I here, and what's my purpose in life, and what happens to me when I die. So he answered all those questions and then told me early on that he wanted me to write a book about his revelations, which resulted in my first book, Dancing on a Stem. And then he came back into my life again after I'd written the first book, this time in astral form. He appeared just suddenly in my bedroom one night in astral form and said to me, I'm here to take you on a series of astral trips to the spirit side, to other places in the universe, and I want you to write what you see and what you hear in your second book, which led to Dancing Forever with Spirit. And then when I finished that one, he came back again in astral form, appeared in my bedroom unannounced, and said, come on, we're off to another set of astral trips, and I want you to write about what you see and the people you talk to on these adventures in your third book. And so that resulted in Dance of Heavenly Bliss.
I just love this, and I don't know if you could hear Garnet, but while we the computer gremlins were playing with us, we had Chelsea from Canada on, and she was talking about how she's starting an alternative business, and she has some doubts in her confidence level. And I said to her that, this is very common, with people when they are moving into this type of work. I mean, what do your colleagues think about your new line of work?
My colleagues?
Yeah, your old colleagues from the law firms.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's been a mixed reaction. Some of them have just sort of shunned me, stopped talking to me, and I suspect they think that I've gone senile. Whereas, and I expected that this would be the reaction from some of them, but others have been amazingly supportive and have said, emails and said, good for you that you had the courage to come out of the spiritual closet and write your books, because this is still the other character for how they knew me when I was a lawyer. It's been a mixed bag, and I expected I would lose some people. That's fine. I've made many other new friends along the way with my new career path. And so overall, it's been a great experience.
And the reason I wanted to ask this question for you is because when I was talking to Chelsea, when in the first segment here, this is really common for people. So I want her to understand that, she can prevail. And it's a different way of presenting information, and people have weaknesses to change sometimes. So I just wanted to share that with her and have you say that, because she's listening right now. And she had moved from she was really worried about it from an 8 all the way down to a 1. And I feel like this is just what she needs to know. She's not all alone here. There's many of us that are opening up to a more, are opening up to our intuitive insights. And at this time on this planet, I feel like it's absolutely brilliant that someone from your background is doing this. I love it. And I want to really tell you how much gratitude that I feel for you coming forward in this way also. What I want to know is, because I know you got a message from Mother Earth in your third book, and I'd like to know what she told you.
Well, this was an amazing trip, because before I had my conversation with Gaia, the consciousness of Mother Earth, I'd assumed that our planet was nothing more than a conglomeration of inert molecules forming, rocks and mountains and deserts and oceans and so on. But Albert took me on one of my astral trips. He took me a cavern underneath the North Pole, which is really quite amazing. And And there I actually had a conversation with Gaia, and it was a bit surprising, as I said, because I didn't know that our planet had a consciousness. It clearly does. She's a very wise and benevolent and very protective soul whose job it is to sort of look after all the flora and fauna on our planet. And she's very protective, wants everyone to be able to get along, live in harmony, have a balanced ecosystem. And her message to me was, look at humans, you become like a bit of a invasive weed on my surface. You're sort of taking over everything, and along the way, you're trampling my other animals. You're stomping on, cutting down my forests, and your pollution is really damaging my ecosystem. You poison the atmosphere, poison the water, the soil, and you're continuing to do this. And it's really detrimental not only to yourselves, but to all of my other animals, all the creatures that I love that are on my planet. And she was really dismayed by this. Her message was, look, humans, you have to change your course, because if you continue down the same path you are with your pollution and your abuse of the animals, it could end very badly for you. And you need to look at it right now. You need to wake up, and you need to strive and make better strides in terms of curbing your pollution. Now, she acknowledged that mankind has come around the last number of years and is recognizing the problem and is trying to do their best to curtail the pollution. But she said too many of us just don't care, and there's not enough of an effort being done, and it's really affecting her. And she said, she loves humans just like she loves all of her other creatures, but she says she really wishes that we would not be so abusive and we change our ways. And she ended up sort of saying, there's been a lot of there's been an increase in natural disasters lately that you may have noticed: floods, hurricanes, volcanoes, droughts, and so on. And she says she has the capability of manipulating some things to a certain degree, and she's been trying to increase this as a way of warning us, as a shooting a shot across our bows to warn us that if we don't stop our ways, it could go very badly for us. And so that was her message. And she asked me to take that back to my fellow humans and write about it, which I did in my third book. And it was a message that, look at humans, we have to wake up, and we have to stop our current course of action and change it, or we could end up really messing up this planet that we live on.
I find that so interesting, Garnet, because last time you were on my radio show, we, it was when I was traveling to Peru, and I was working with shamans there. And in my visions and ceremony, I got the same message. It was write a book about this, tell people about this. It's not like a judgment at all. It's just the facts. It's just cause and effect, is what, basically I was told. So I find it really interesting that you're from Saskatchewan and that you love schnauzers like me. I used to I used to train schnauzers. It was the very first dog that I learned how to groom, all of that. And I just love this. I feel like there's a synchronicity here to your information. And I recognize too that you also went on a journey, on this journey that you met a society of matriarchal women. What was that about?
Well, it was, during the course of Albert showing me what was happening on our planet and some of the things that are wrong about it, he said, let me give an example of how another human civilization has evolved. And this was a civilization on a planet many light years away from Earth, which you can get to virtually instantly when you're traveling astrally. You're not limited by the speed of light. And so it was a planet where it was a matriarchal society. It was ruled entirely by women, a human civilization. And they ruled everything. They took over all the political offices. They had all the managerial positions, any position of authority. The men weren't allowed to have any position of authority or vote or run for office or anything. And the basis for this is that they chemically sterilized all males at the age of 3. And so they had very low testosterone levels. They were very happy. They weren't subjugated. They weren't abused by the women. They just were free to have a happy life pursuing educational interests or recreational activities or whatever. So they didn't really they had a happy life basically, but the women ran the society. And she says that even though the women very often had disagreements about things, they were always able to settle their differences in an amicable fashion without violence, and therefore there was no crime or violence or conflict in their society. And this
Garnet,
all happened,
we have to take a quick break again here, but I really would like to continue this line of talk when we come back, because I'm getting that what you're talking about is in sync with what's going on in the world right now. I am Colette Marie Stefan. You're listening to The Truth is Funny, and you can connect with me at thetruthisfunny.com. Tales from the Vector, TAILS, for my energy correcting cards and paintings that are now available, and for information regarding the Energetic Upgrade online program with Mark Kettenbach, you can go to energeticupgrade.com. You can find me on social media, on Facebook, Twitter, all of that, at The Truth is Funny with Colette. We'll be right back after this short break.
Tune in to The Michael Shane Show, the third Tuesday of each month at 11 a.m. Pacific on TransformationTalkRadio.com, and connect with the ascended beings to raise your vibration and manifest the life you desire. Get ready to receive healing through the transphysical mediumship of Reverend Michael Shane and the ascended beings. Visit MichaelShane.com. That's MyChael, Shane.com, and call 425-971-6632 to schedule your full healing session now.
Brand consultant and coach Jen Morgan is here with Radically Distinct Radio to help maximize your brand's power to produce results. Whether you're a person with a dream and unsure where to start, or a CEO of a successful company wondering what's next, Jen Morgan and the RAD method empowers you to play to your strengths and focus your competitive edge so you can show up in the world as your most powerful brand. Go to jenmorgan.com or call 206-972-5366.
Tune in to The Truth is Funny with Colette Stefan each Wednesday at 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern on TransformationTalkRadio.com. This hit show will have you thinking outside the box and riding the wave of infinite potential. Join Colette on the Higher Self Network, inspiring listeners to shine their brilliance and ensure success while roaring with laughter as they recognize the humor of the giant cosmic joke. Visit thetruthисfunny.com.
Are you feeling stagnant or blocked in your love life, career, health, or finances? Experiencing difficulty focusing or setting and achieving goals? Tune in to Spiritual Diagnostics Radio with psychic visionary healers Carol Dorian and Suzanne Evans. Discover the cause and effect of unwanted patterns in life. Tune in every Tuesday at 12 p.m. Pacific on Transformation Talk Radio. For more information, visit spiritualdeed.com.
You, yes you, can be the highest version of yourself. Wellness coach and natural beauty expert Dr. Agnes Frenkel is on a mission to help you play the game of your life. Win in vibrancy, health, and beauty. Because you deserve it. Dr. Agnes goes beyond the limits in her personal coaching sessions to revolutionize health and wellness. Now is the time to unleash your true power. For more information, visit dragnesfrankel.com.
Chris Stanis is a spiritual leader and healer and teaches a course on how you can transform your life through a meditation and healing system that will manifest your spirit's dreams. She manifested the Women of Wisdom Conference, the Women of Wisdom book, and this radio show. And she can show you how to change your life too. Are you ready? Visit the website and contact her at voicesofwomentoday.com. That's voicesofwomentoday.com.
We're back on The Truth is Funny, and we have Garnet Schulhauser here today. He's sharing some very cool information about his travels with Albert. And before we continue, though, Garnet, I just wanted to make sure that you share your contact information with people so that they know how to get in touch with you.
Absolutely. Well, the best place to reach me is my website, which is garnetschulhauser.com, which is hard to remember. So, but if somebody Googles Dancing on a Stamp or Dance of Heavenly Bliss, they'll get to my website. And there, my email address is there. I'd love to hear from your listeners' comments or questions. There's you can download a free excerpt of each book on my website. You can watch a book video. You can dial to my social media sites like Facebook and YouTube. And there are links there on my website where you can click onto the popular online bookstores to and get right to where you can buy my book. So by all means, check out my website. That's the best place to reach me.
Awesome. And, before the break, we were talking about how you were just finishing up speaking about this matriarchal society. And, is there any last thoughts you want to share about that before we go on to the next interesting guest?
Yeah, I just wanted to just wanted to conclude about that is that the Empress that I spoke to there on this planet said that way back when they had originally been a patriarchal planet that was ruled by men, and the men were very abusive and subjugated women. And how it all turned around was that one of their ladies had a dream one night that she fed a plant that grew in their forest to the men, that their testosterone levels would drop drastically. And so she secretly fed this to her husband and the word to other women, and gradually over time, their patriarchal society became a matriarchal society, which it is right now. And so that's sort of how they evolved. They had a very peaceful and harmonic, civilization. And as I said, no crime or violence. And so it was really a different take on how humans had evolved on a different planet. So it was very interesting trip for me.
Yeah, when you said this, what came to me, and I just wanted to share this with people listening in, because I'm all for men having testosterone. I like men like that. And, but it's the violence and the killing, that could go. And I feel that for the first time in the history, maybe of mankind or humanity on this planet, we have a very good chance here right now of coming to 50-50 here with men and women. And so allowing, that both the masculine and feminine could be in balance, and then the world would be more in balance is what I'm getting. And so, it's really something that I feel that we need to address here. All of us are masculine and feminine. We have male and female. And so there is no war against men and women. I just wanted to point that out. It's just one of those societies and the way they dealt with, basically, like when you're astral traveling, you must have been to lots of places. One that I really wanted to ask you about, because you said that you had a conversation with Christ, and I would love to hear about that.
Yes. And for anybody who has any doubts about whether Jesus Christ was an actual real historical figure on our planet, the answer is absolutely yes. I had a nice conversation with him. He's a master soul, very advanced soul. He said he was recruited by the Council of Wild Ones to incarnate on Earth way back 2,000 plus years ago, and he walked the earth as Jesus Christ as we know him from the scriptures. And he said that because he was a master soul, he was able to focus his thoughts into very powerful beams of energy. And that's how he basically created his miracles. That's how he turned water into wine, where he walked on water, rose people from the dead, because he did this through his very focused thoughts. And he did that, he said, very deliberately, because he wanted to attract attention. He wanted to attract, followers to his message. And his message was be one of love. Like, we need to embrace love, and we need to reject all the negative emotions that creep into our minds all the time, like fear, anger, and hate. And so that was his message. He was trying to help humanity sort of take the next step up the spiritual ladder, and that's why he incarnated. And he said, he hoped that his message would carry on after he died. He expected they would probably develop some sort of a religion around his teachings, which of course they have the Christian religion. But he said he didn't know quite how it would develop. He said that the Christian religion has done a lot of good things. They do expound his teachings, which is good. But he said they've gone off track in a lot of ways with their various pieces of dogma and beliefs that really didn't originate from him. And so there are some bad things they've done over time. But when he said that's just the way that's how humans. You never know where humans are going to go. And he said that he's watching with interest and he hopes that they continue to do good things and sort of cast aside some of the bad things that have developed over the years. And when I said to him, well, if you could create miracles like you did, why didn't you stop yourself from being crucified on the cross? And he said, well, I could have had I chosen to, but I thought that my dramatic death on a cross would really make a very loud sort of statement to my followers, attract attention. So that's why he allowed it to happen. And of course, he knew all along where he came from and where he'd be going. So he knew that his physical existence was just very temporary, and that he would pass on to the spirit where he is now, after his death on the cross. So very interesting conversation indeed.
Yeah, it's interesting also because in Peru, like my Peruvian experiences and working with the shamans and the madre, I also had several conversations with Christ, and I'm going to write about those. But this is for me what he was basically a portal of energy of pure love, pure divine love, and that we all have access to that information, and that we all have choice whether we're going to run with the fear or we're going to, choose love. And when we choose love, we don't necessarily mean like the love that, sometimes love is given kind of a bad name on this planet. We're talking about unconditional love, like divine love from, the universe, like universal divinity actually is what it was, the way it was told to me. So just, I find it fascinating that, you were able to access this information. What was that like for you? What did you feel at that time? Did you, how did you notice a change in the way your energy was when you were speaking with Christ?
Oh, yes. Yeah, no, I mean, the guy is the soul of Christ. He's just a very advanced, benevolent, wise person. As you say, he totally embodies love. And so, yeah, I mean, I really felt elevated, enlightened when I was speaking with him. It was a very wonderful sort of conversation. And I said to him after we finished, I said, I'd really love to talk to you again. He said, sure. Some other time in the future, you could come back and we'll have another conversation. And in fact, I did. That's in my fourth book, which I don't want to get into the details, but I did have another conversation, which I described in my fourth book, Dance of Eternal Rapture.
Beautiful. Okay, and I because I want to cover these points, because I find that the questions, the climate on the earth right now, the energy right now, there's a lot of fear. With the election in the United States and everything, and people wondering which way is this going to go, and really, I feel that these words of love and calmness and recognizing that we are all in a place right now where we have access to these higher vibrational information that could be very calming for the planet right now. And that's why I know it's no accident that you're on the show now to share this, because a lot of people I'm getting want to hear from someone that actually has had some experience with the other side. Okay. And so, a lot of people wonder about guardian angels, and you were wanting to talk about, you had a meeting with your guardian angel. Do you want to share what that was like for you?
Yeah, absolutely, Colette. It was a meeting on the spirit side, and Albert introduced me to her name was Anna Peel, a stunningly beautiful soul. At least that's how she appeared to me. And she said, look, I'm one of your guardian angels.
What was her name?
Hello?
Sorry, I couldn't hear what
Peel.
you said. Anna Peel?
Yeah.
I love that.
Her name was Anna Peel. Yeah. And it was interesting to meet her, because as a kid growing up, I'd been told by people that we all have guardian angels. I didn't know if this was a fact, just a fable. Anyway, I did meet one of my guardian angels, and she said, look, her job was to sort of watch over me, to make sure that I didn't suffer an untimely death. And this all relates to the fact that we don't die by accident, Colette. We die when our souls are ready to exit. And if circumstances on the planet might dictate that we might die an untimely death, our guardian angels will actually step in to prevent that, sometimes physically intervene to make sure that we don't suffer a death before our souls are ready to leave our incarnation. So it was really quite an amazing...
Garnet, this is really big for people, because over the years, working with thousands of people energetically, and that I have never come across anyone that died at the wrong time. The information always comes in that we never really die alone, because we're always with the universe. And so it's really beautiful what you've said, because there's so much fear around death. And if you look at it more as a transition, it's beautiful. And to know that for a lot of parents that lose children, or sometimes I would work with clients who maybe had an abortion or a miscarriage. And there's a lot of sadness or grief around that. And you can, I've never met a soul yet that was angry about the situation. They might be disturbed, but they're not angry, So I find that absolutely beautiful for you to share that. And, when we come back after this short break, we'll continue finding out what else, because there's a couple more points that I'd love to cover with you that I think would be really beneficial for people. This is Colette Marie Stefan with The Truth is Funny. I love to connect with all of you, and I want to thank you all for all your wonderful comments about my book, The Truth is Funny, Shit Happens, and also my other book, which is a collaboration with 20 other authors. It's called Life Sparks, and it is stories of inspiration that, from kind of every people really like you and me that are sort of decided that we're going to go with our intuitive information and follow our heart and be strong in our purpose to sharing this information with others to benefit, other people, to make what I'm getting right now is it's about community. So all of us as a community in humanity being there for each other. And so I just am loving this right now, hearing your words. We'll be right back after this short break.
The Earth is an ever-changing being. Goddess Light Shamanic Healer Bree Gibbs guides us through the ascending worlds and brings forth knowledge and truth. As a light creator, she is here to provide new information needed at this time in our evolution. Join Bree as she shares messages from guides, spirits, ascended masters, goddesses, and others. Tune in Tuesdays at 3 p.m. Pacific and Thursdays at 1 p.m. Pacific for the Silver Gaia Show and live the authentic life.
Are you feeling stagnant or blocked in your love life, career, health, or finances? Experiencing difficulty focusing or setting and achieving goals? Tune in to Spiritual Diagnostics Radio with psychic visionary healers Carol Dorian and Suzanne Evans. Discover the cause and effect of unwanted patterns in life. Tune in every Tuesday at 12 p.m. Pacific on Transformation Talk Radio. For more information, visit spiritualdeed.com.
You, yes you, can be the highest version of yourself. Wellness coach and natural beauty expert Dr. Agnes Renkel is on a mission to help you play the game of your life. Win in vibrancy, health, and beauty. Because you deserve it. Dr. Agnes goes beyond the limits in her personal coaching sessions to revolutionize health and wellness. Now is the time to unleash your true power. For more information, visit dragnesfrankel.com.
Tune in to The Truth is Funny with Colette Stefan each Wednesday at 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern on TransformationTalkRadio.com. This hit show will have you thinking outside the box and riding the wave of infinite potential. Join Colette on the Higher Self Network, inspiring listeners to shine their brilliance and ensure success while roaring with laughter as they recognize the humor of the giant cosmic joke. Visit thetruithisfunny.com.
Transformation Talk Radio is dedicated to the education and awareness of Lyme disease.
Welcome to Lyme Talk Radio. I'm Dr. Pat Basile, the host of the Dr. Pat Show, and I am so thrilled that we've created this venue for all of you out there.
Dr. Pat Basile will be bringing the most innovative, groundbreaking information, research, treatment innovations, and stories from those it affects every day.
What we have heard is that you want to ensure for us that we keep positive, holistic, uplifting, transformative talk radio on the air. We're excited to bring you the contemporary conversations about Lyme disease.
We promise not to let the light fade on Lyme.
So fasten your seatbelts. We've got lots more to share with you in the weeks to come.
Tune into Lyme Talk Radio with Dr. Pat and help keep our mission strong on TransformationTalkRadio.com.
1230 WPLQ.
This is Colette Marie Stefan. You are listening to The Truth is Funny, and I have Garnet Schulhauser here with me today. I'm having a very interesting conversation with Garnet about the other side. And so, Garnet, you were talking about your guardian angel, and did you have any other further comments to make about that part of your journey?
No, just to reassure all the listeners that everyone does in fact have one or more guardian angels. They're with us from the time we're born. They're there, as I said, to make sure that we don't suffer an untimely death. An untimely death is one where physical bodies might perish before our souls are ready to leave. So they're there to guide us. They're there to actually physically intervene if necessary to stop us from suffering an untimely death. And so it's very comforting to know that they have been around and they're around for everyone, and that there's always somebody there to make sure that we don't suffer fatality in an accident before our time is up, before our souls are ready to go. So it was a very comforting message. Everyone should be comforting to know that we all have guardian angels.
I love that. It's really interesting. Also, I just wanted to point out that with the guardian angels, quite often what people sometimes they're on their way to work and they're in a hurry, and then, oh man, there's a detour and there's all this stuff. A lot of times that's how guardian angels make sure we don't get accidents that we shouldn't get into.
Absolutely.
I just wanted to point that out to people. A lot of people are talking now about 111, 1111. I just feel that it would be I'm getting a lot more people are noticing this. I first started noticing 111 about 10 years ago. And the 111 is actually an energetic portal that when you see those numbers, you start seeing 111, 1111, on your clocks. You see it on license plates, just all over the place. This is a check for you to really check your thoughts at that moment. Because when you see a 111, it's there to inform you that you are now manifesting at a high rate. So be careful what you're thinking. And quite often I find when people see a 111, it's like not a warning, but an advisement that you might want to watch what you're thinking, what you're doing, where you're going at this time. And so I just wanted to share that with you. I was just told to. So I want to ask you now, you said you had a frightening experience with a black hole. What happened there?
Well, it was a trip. Albert didn't give me any warning. He just came one night and said, "Come on, follow me," and I always did. And he just took me without explaining why. He took me to near the center of our galaxy where there was a black hole. Now, as you know, black holes are usually formed when a star collapses on itself, and it ends up with a dense piece of matter in the center that has such a strong gravitational field that nothing can escape, not even light. Hence the name black hole. So I wasn't sure why he was taking me there, but anyway, as we neared this black hole, suddenly I was sort of immersed in this total, complete, absolute blackness. And Albert who had been beside me before, seemed to have disappeared. So I was there all alone, and I felt something that I'd never felt before: total sensory deprivation. I mean, I couldn't see, hear, touch anything. It was just like I was floating in a sea of blackness, and I had no sense of passing time, and I felt totally and absolutely all alone. First time in my life. It was like there was no one else in the universe. I was there by myself, and it was frightening because I thought to myself, Albert had told me before that hell did not exist, but I thought, maybe he was fooling me. Maybe this is hell, and he brought me here, just for whatever reason, to show me what hell was like. It was very, very frightening, very depressing, very disconcerting to be there all alone in the sensory deprivation. And then, thankfully, I saw a pinpoint of light off in the distance, and as it seemed to move closer towards me, it got larger and larger. And all of a sudden, there was this large circle of light that basically came and engulfed me. And I stepped through into another world. And it looked like I had stepped into a subatomic world because I noticed that there was what appeared to be like an atom with a nucleus and an electron orbiting around it, and which seemed very strange. And then it was like some invisible force was pushing me, zooming me away, zooming me out. And as I zoomed out, I could see that this atom was attached to other atoms to form a molecule. And then as I zoomed out further, I could see that these molecules had glommed together to form what looked like to be a shiny black substance. And then as I zoomed out even further, I found myself amazingly standing in my family room, looking at the glass eye of a toy, stuffed dog that was sitting on my shelf. I had emerged from the eye of this dog. And And there was Albert standing beside me, and I said, what was that all about? Where were you? He said, well, I was with you all along, but I chose to not make my presence known. I wanted you to feel what it was like to be in total blackness, total darkness, and to be all alone. And I said, well, and how did I end up back here? And he said, the space-time continuum is curved in many ways, and you just, exited from the black hole through a interdimensional wormhole back to your home. And I said, thank God I'm back here. And I said, Albert, please promise never to take me there again. And amazingly, he had told me before that sometimes you don't really appreciate the light until you've experienced the darkness. And after that black hole experience, I just sort of looked around at me and everything in my sight, in my home, in my yard. I looked at it in a very much different perspective. It just seemed like so much more amazingly beautiful and serene and full of light to me than I had ever viewed it beforehand. So it was quite an experience.
That is incredible. I had a similar experience, only I was in the white, but exactly what you described. And I realized I didn't want to leave the white. I realized I was in the core of God, and I wanted to stay there. And so and I thought it was kind of funny how everybody was fighting the dark when I was fighting the white, in a weird way, like to stay. And it makes sense that if you're with God, like 100% in that core, in that light, that it would be a challenging place to leave. So, but very interesting, your experience there. So I just wanted to ask you, because we're going to be running out of time soon here, why did you call your book The Dance of Heavenly Bliss, this one?
Oh, that's very interesting. It was one of my trips to the spirit side, and after the black hole, I said to Albert, you've given me a lot of somewhat distressing, trips and messages for my book. Why don't you take me on a trip once where I can have some fun and enjoy myself? He said, okay, I will. So we went to the spirit side. I met up with a soul called Votan, who was a very handsome young man, and Votan explained to me that he and I had previous lives together before, and so he described them briefly, and then all of a sudden, without warning, Votan just stepped right into me, and our energies kind of temporarily merged for a few very ecstatic, exhilarating moments of sort of merged love, and it was an amazing sense. Like it was like nothing I'd ever experienced before. And then after several minutes, he just then stepped back again. And he had a big smile on his face, and he said, "You've experienced the dance of heavenly bliss." And
that sounds beautiful.
This is a dance that souls and the spirit side do often and openly, and it's their way of expressing love for one another. And he says, you can enjoy this again when you transform from this world, your world, back to the spirit side. And I said, yeah, you're right. I can't wait to do that again. It was an amazing sort of experience.
Garnet, I want to thank you so much for coming back on the radio show and sharing these beautiful insights and being so brave as to speak about them, from your heart in this way. You are much appreciated. And thank you, Chelsea, for calling in and sharing with us your experience. And this is Colette Marie Stefan. This is The Truth is Funny on Transformational Talk Radio. I will be back next week, 8 o'clock a.m. Pacific time, with some more enlightening information. Thank you once again, Garnet, and thank you, Brian.
Thank you, Colette.
And listeners, thank you. Bye for now.
You've been listening to The Truth is Funny with Colette Stefan. Tune in to The Truth is Funny with Colette Stefan each Wednesday at 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern on TransformationTalkRadio.com. Join Colette on the Higher Self Network as she provides energetic shifts and consistent results in every area of life, inspiring listeners to shine their brilliance and ensure success while roaring with laughter as they recognize the humor of the giant cosmic joke. The Truth is Funny. Visit thetruthisfunny.com for more information. That's thetruthisfunny.com.